A mother and daughter strolled down the quiet sidewalks of Crestwood Heights, the sun casting long shadows along the picket fences. It was peaceful, almost too peaceful. The kind of place where people notice everything. And everyone. Jenny I.A. Whitmore, still in her red work vest with her name tag clipped on, held her daughter Ava's hand tightly as they made their usual walk home from school. They'd only lived in this neighborhood for a few weeks. Her husband Malik had just been elected as the city's first black mayor. And this move was meant to mark a new beginning. A dream home, a better life. But that afternoon something changed. As they passed one house after another, Jenny I.A. became aware of the eyes. First, a woman peering through her blinds. Then behind a bush. Then again. Phone in hand this time, lips moving rapidly. Ava tugged on her mom's hand, her voice uncertain. Why is that lady looking at us like that? Jenny I.A. squeezed her fingers gently. Sometimes, baby, people are afraid of things they don't understand. Barely 3 minutes later, tires screeched onto the street. 2 police cruisers stopped abruptly, and officers jumped out like they were storming a crime scene. One of them, Officer Brent Malloy, immediately pointed at Jenny I.A. "You. Step away from the child." She blinked, confused. "What? This is my daughter." "Hands where I can see them," the officer snapped. Ava clung to her mother, crying, "She's my mommy." But no one listened. Another officer, whose badge read T. Reeves, yanked Jania's arms behind her back, metal cuffs clamping tight around her wrists. "Please," she begged. "Just check my ID, my purse. My name is right here on my vest. I live just 3 houses down. We received a call about a possible abduction." Malloy cut her off. "You match the description." From across the street, the woman who had been watching earlier now stood confidently on her lawn. Karen Donnelly. "I saw her dragging that little girl," she shouted. "She didn't want to go. She's scared." Jenny I.A. replied through clenched teeth, trying to stay calm. "Because you're yelling and strangers are hurting her mother." But no one paused. No one asked for names. No one cared. Not the woman pointing. Not the officers restraining her. Not the other neighbors watching from their porches. They didn't care that her work badge clearly said Jenny I.A. Whitmore. They didn't care that the house keys in her pocket matched a front door just steps away. Instead, they shoved her into the back of a cruiser, while Ava's wails echoed through the street. Sharp, cutting, impossible to forget. Across town in a city hall meeting, Malik was discussing municipal budgets when his phone buzzed with an unknown number. He ignored it. It buzzed again, and then a text. "They arrested your wife." He stopped breathing. Another message followed. "A neighbor said she was kidnapping your daughter." He didn't wait for context. Didn't finish the meeting. He just ran. Back at the station, Jenny I.A. sat alone in a holding cell. No explanations. No answers. Her daughter was gone. Taken somewhere, maybe with Child Protective Services, maybe with strangers. The uncertainty was a knife turning in her chest. She wasn't crying. Her eyes were burning, but from fury, not fear. She already knew the truth. This had nothing to do with a phone call or a description. It was about skin. It was always about skin. 26 minutes later, the front doors of the precinct slammed open. Malik charged in. No suit, no staff, just raw anger. He approached the front desk. "Where is Jenny I.A. Whitmore?" "My wife." "You arrested her." The officer behind the desk didn't even look up. "We can't give out info without proper ID." Malik dropped his palm hard on the desk. "I'm the mayor of this city. My face is on every sign from here to the airport. Do I need to bring the media here?" Now heads turned. Officers stepped out from the back. A cold silence fell. Officer Malloy appeared and stopped dead. "Wait, your wife's name is Jenny I.A.? "Yes. And if I don't see her in the next 30 seconds, you won't have a badge by the end of this day." The station shifted. Someone rushed to unlock the holding cell. Jenny I.A. was released. But Malik wasn't done. He walked directly to Malloy and Reeves, who couldn't meet his gaze now. "You put handcuffs on the mother of my child in front of a screaming little girl, without so much as checking a name. You didn't investigate. You didn't ask questions. You acted like her presence alone was a threat." Neither officer spoke. He leaned in, quiet but clear. "That's not protection. That's profiling. And you will be held accountable. The silence said everything. The damage was already done. To trust, to dignity, to a child's sense of safety. But the story wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Malik stood between the officers and his daughter, his voice low but firm. You made my little girl watch her mother get treated like a criminal, for walking her home. Neither his wife nor daughter had spoken a word through the ordeal, but he wasn't finished. Turning to the now visibly shaken sergeant, he continued, that won't happen again. As of right now, both of you are suspended, and I'm pressing formal charges. The officers scanned the room, but no one stepped in to defend them. Malik then faced the civilian staff behind the desk. Get Child Protective Services on the line. I want my daughter released to me immediately. While Karen Donnelly kept spewing excuses, she had no idea her actions were about to come back with full force. That 911 call she placed wasn't her first. It wasn't even her 10th. She had a disturbing record, calling the police on Black delivery workers, Latino gardeners, even a Nigerian student walking to his tutoring job. But this time, she targeted the wrong family. A neighbor, one of the few decent people in that area, captured it all on video. Jenny IA being handcuffed, little Ava screaming, Karen shouting baseless accusations, and the officers refusing to ask even a single question. The footage went viral fast, first Twitter, then Facebook, then the evening news. The hashtag Justice for Jania was trending by lunchtime. National networks picked it up. Civil rights organizations got involved. Talk radio exploded with outrage. Everyone had the same burning question. How does the mayor's wife get arrested on the street in front of her child without anyone checking her ID? Online, the backlash was swift. People uncovered Karen's old social media posts, filled with coded racist language. She tried to wipe her accounts, but it was already too late. The internet had receipts. Then came a knock at her door. 2 federal agents stood on her porch, warrant in hand. Karen Donnelly, one of them said, "You're under arrest for filing false police reports, promoting racial intimidation, and obstructing justice." But I was just trying to protect a child," she stammered. One agent raised an eyebrow. "This isn't your first report. We have the audio recordings. All of them. And this time you mess with the wrong people." Karen was handcuffed right on her porch, her neighbors finally witnessing her dragged off like she had done to so many others. Meanwhile, at City Hall, Malik called a press conference. The courthouse lawn was overflowing with reporters, activists, neighbors, and police officers. Malik stepped up to the podium. "I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a black man," he began. "And yesterday my wife, your mayor's wife, was treated like a criminal in a city I've sworn to serve." He paused. "This isn't just about Jenny IA. This is about every mother ignored, every child traumatized, every neighbor who stayed quiet when they should have spoken up." Then came the announcement. Effective immediately, Officers Malloy and Reeves are terminated. A full internal review of the department has begun. And a new racial bias education program will be implemented across every precinct in this city. Cheers erupted from the crowd, but Malik wasn't done. And to those who believe the color of their skin is a weapon they can wield with a phone call, know this: we're not afraid of you anymore. That night, back at home, Jenny IA held Ava close on the couch. The child hadn't let go of her mother since their reunion. "You okay, baby?" Jenny IA asked softly. Ava nodded, her voice barely a whisper. "I was really scared, Mommy." Jenny IA kissed her forehead. "Me too, sweetheart. But we're home now. And Daddy made sure they heard us." "I want to tell my class what happened," Ava said suddenly. Jenny IA hesitated. "Are you sure?" "Yeah," Ava said. "People need to hear the truth." That's when Jenny IA knew. Her daughter wasn't just healing. She was becoming brave. Soon after, the police department welcomed a new chief, Maya Clarkson, a black woman with 2 decades of experience and a reputation for clearing out corruption. The city also launched a new oversight board for emergency calls, focused specifically on calls made without evidence or with racial motives. Karen's trial became a state-level case. She pled guilty. No deal. 3 years in federal prison. But the real turning point came on Ava's career day at school. One by one, Parents stood up to talk about what they did. When it was Malik's turn, he wore a simple button-up shirt. He didn't mention politics or policy. "I'm this city's mayor," he said. "But my most important job is being a protector for my family." Then Ava raised her hand. The teacher nodded. She walked up to stand beside her father, gripping his hand tight. "Just because someone looks different doesn't mean they're dangerous," she said. "My mommy was taken by mistake. It hurt. But she's strong, and we're proud." Silence filled the room. Then the applause began. It didn't stop for a long time. Jenny IA went on to launch a podcast called The Walk Home, a space for women of color to tell their stories of injustice, survival, and resilience. Her debut episode, "The Day They Didn't Ask My Name," reached 1 million downloads within days. This wasn't just one family's ordeal. It was a turning point, a confrontation with the systems and silence that allow injustice to flourish. Because when you threaten the wrong woman, you awaken a movement. And if this story moved you, if it struck something deep inside, then remember, change doesn't come from silence. It comes from using your voice,